Okay, so today I'm going to go through In Church. So it's Largo, so it's quite slow. This little piece by Tchaikovsky. It should have a really resonant sound, but it should still be quite quiet. So it's important to get a good tone. And if we look at the piece, you see we're in E minor, ending on our E minor chord, pianissimo. Yet with F sharp in the key signature. So E minor, the relative minor to G major, F sharp in the key signature, but we're going to find some D sharps along the way because we need a leading tone. And we may very well find some C sharps just the same way you would in your melodic minor scale. So there's a lot of dynamic marks. As pointed out, we have pianissimo, perdondosi at the end, so fading away. Pianissimo, so really dying away here at the end. Crescendi at the hairpins here. Pianissimos here. So here we have a forte, which is our loudest spot in the piece, pretty much, and some mezzo forte happening. So a fair bit of dynamic range you want to consider. And ultimately, con pedale, it's all pedaled through according to the harmonies that are there. So it's just a general overview of it. Let me just let the cat through here. So we're going to look at the opening section. So often learning these, you want to omit repeats of chords, notes, because they eat up a lot of processing power in your brain. So you can see that this is the fourth from B to E. The B is on the bottom to the D sharp, and then back to the E. See, the B is holding through. It's a two-note. It's a half note. So we have this shape to this shape, and then this comes back. The thumb is staying on the B. And then slurred back to there. So we get back to the fourth. That's the opening in the right hand. In the left hand, we complete the E minor chord. Okay, and then 2 and 5, and then back to that. That's the first two measures. Taking a look through the next two measures, you can see we've got a D chord. So the fifth is D to A in the left hand, and then we have D to F sharp. And again, you can see this is all the same, and then we come back to that fourth that he seems to like so much, and back to the D F sharp. Okay, not worrying too much about rhythm now, just getting the choreography of the hand. In the left hand, as I said, the D to A, the fifth. And then we go into the E and the G, and back to the D and the A. You see where I am now? In the next measure, that's where we are. Okay, then we come back to where we just were, but we're going to use 1 and 4, and then 1 and 3, and then back to that. So we were here, we come back to that fifth, but not with 1 and 5, now with 1 and 4, and we're going to end up on that B and F sharp. And in the right hand for that same spot, we have this fourth here from D to G. So we end up on that B major chord at the end. And then we're at the beginning of measure 9. We're back to our fourth here. So we're here, there, and then this G chord. The left hand at measure 9, we're back to our E and G, and then to that G on the bottom. We come up to the A, we have our 6th with 1 and 4, back to our B, then F sharp, and to our tonic. Okay, and in the right hand, so I was just showing you this, in the right hand we've got this chord, keeping in mind the F sharp, and then these same chords that we had at the opening. So we've got this shape, back to that 4th, okay. Now here we are, 9, 10, 11, 12, measure 13, you can see same, 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 same. So really worth it getting the opening 12 measures precise. And then when you go to do it at measure 13, you can do it with a wider range of dynamic, right? Because it's louder, it's almost as if it's like a procession in a church, and it starts off far away and it's moving closer, right? So we have this. Okay, that's the rhythm. That's how it should feel at the opening. It can even go a little bit slower than that. Now, as I said, that brings us here to measure 24. And you can see here's just our E minor chord. And then we have an A on the bottom to the F sharp. Just have this cadence here, and then you can see it's basically repeated again here, but as an echo in pianissimo. So I'm going to show you from this here. I'm not going to do the repeats, just so you can see the movement of the hand, the choreography, starting from measure 25. So we've got our 4th again, and then we have our 3rd, and then the B to the D sharp, and then back to our 4th. And then for the pianissimo ones, because we actually have to play a fuller chord at the end, because the left hand needs to have freedom to get a little bit lower, we play 5 and 2 here, and then 5 and 3. Roll your wrist up to that, and then we can play the whole of our E minor first inversion chord in the right hand. The left hand for the same spot, we've got our 3rd, which switches to 1 and 2, so that you can get the thumb onto the F sharp with the E, with the finger 5 on the A at the bottom. There's our famous 5th. Same thing again. I'm going to play the left hand through for you from 25, so you can really see the finger change. You see, I forgot to do the finger change there. And then the left hand reaches down that octave. You can actually jump down the octave because they're not slurred. And we play this. In the music, it's marked to go 5-4-3, 5-4-3. It's got that sort of drumming quality. If you're not comfortable with those, you can maybe play 3 and 4 together, or all. The idea is to get lots of control. So if you keep doing it with the same finger, you're not going to get as much control. That's why we're changing fingers. We'll take a look at the right hand spot. Right here. So there's our pulsing in the left hand that I was just showing you. So we've got a first inversion shape here with G and the B and the E on the top. So even if you can't read that ledger line, you know that shape, the third on the bottom, fourth on top, first inversion, E minor chord. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the B is constant in both of these chords. It's just the upper, the top, and the bottom note that are changing. So watch my hand. I'm going to keep the B, and the top and the bottom notes are moving down a half step. Okay, now the next chord, the outer notes are moving down a half step. So we're here on the outer notes, and the middle note has this G sharp. Okay, then we're moving down this step here to the second inversion A minor chord. It's got a fourth on the bottom, third on the top, so second inversion. Okay, and then at measure 37, we got a different inversion, first inversion of the A minor chord, and we're coming down by step, and then, okay, so that takes us to measure 38. So I'm going to show you those chords again. For our first inversion E minor chord, the B stays the same, the top and the bottom note move down a half step. Half step continues with the top and the bottom, and the middle note moves to a G sharp. Here we move to a second inversion A minor chord. Here we move to a first inversion A minor chord, second inversion E minor chord, moving in. Okay. Now in the next chord, in measure 39, the top two notes stay the same. The fingering changes to help us do the chord that happens right afterwards. So the top two notes are the same, bottom note comes up to a C sharp, and then we come to that B major chord, which is why we change fingering, and then we're going to cross over, or actually move down to that. Okay, the right, I'm going to continue with the right hand. So far we've gotten the chords all the way to here. So you can stop as much as you want the video. I know these are tricky for you to read. I'm hoping this helps. So you can see here our top note is E. We got a second on the top and that G sharp, and here we have a root position triad. So let's see if you can follow along. G sharp on the bottom, A minor root position, coming down to a first inversion C major chord, root position E minor, first inversion A minor, second inversion E minor, back to that chord. So we've already had this information but an octave higher. And here's our B major chord, top two notes hold, and then there's our sixth, and that's how we end the piece. Okay, left hand is really straightforward. I don't think I need to go over it with you. Have fun. I'll see you soon.